What's up, buddy? Your question for the Rick and Bubba Show.
Yes, sir. Okay. How many of you would really take the vaccination for the coronavirus?
So now, are we going to pretend like that I didn't have it, because it's a moot point to me now?
Yes.
But like back,
if you didn't have it.
yeah. If I didn't have the antibodies, if I felt like that I was at a health risk, like I had some. Is it comorbidities? How did we say the comorbidities? If I had comorbidities and I thought, hey man, I'm one of these people that would have a bad time with it, I would take it. Yes, absolutely. If I was in the situation where I had never had it and I was in my current health right now, or I was younger and healthy, I would not.
Would it change your opinion if you was a first responder on the front line?
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, probably would.
You know, the thing, I hate you have to have any vaccines, but let's face it, they do work. They've done wonderful things. We've all had polio, MMR, all that stuff, smallpox, and we hope this one works too. I understand there's concern, and I think that's wise to have concern. But more and more people are looking at this. More and more people are going to be taking it. And I think you need to use your own judgment. There's a point, Rick, where I will get so sick of all of it, I'll probably go, give me one, because I'm done with it.
Yeah, this has got a different deal to it, because when you think about, if I understand that you weigh the options, the death rate on this is extremely low. But there are people who end up having that even live. But I mean, I know some right now, and they're just going through hell on earth with how bad it's affected them. And some of them are older and had some comorbidities. Some do not. There have been some people that seemed like they were relatively healthy. Charles Billingsley, he found out I had tested positive, and he immediately contacted me and he started listing all these things, and I said, I don't have any of that. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
And look, Charles Billingsley is healthier than I am, I would assume.
He looks like he could still play.
So there's always exceptions, even when, but in general, we have some idea. So, and then you think about, all right, is the chance of me dying of COVID higher or lower than me having a bad reaction to a rush to market vaccine? And I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
But that's one of those things that you would weigh out. But the difference in this, I've never had the flu that I can recall in my entire life. Okay. So I never really worry that much about the flu because I've never really gotten it. But COVID I got, and a lot of people are getting it. So I have a responsibility to myself, certainly, and I really have no concern about that. I know the death rate is extremely low. I never felt like, oh no, I'm going to die. And honestly, I'm prepared to die. I don't fear death. However, I do have a responsibility to others, and that's what makes this a little bit different.
Yep.
I don't need to be reckless to other people with it. And that's what makes this a little harder thing to walk. And it also makes me look at things differently than I probably would if that wasn't the case. Does that make sense? I weigh things a little bit different because there's other people that can be affected as well. I mean, when I look at my mom and dad, and we're sitting here, they're 79 years old. Dad will be 80 in January. And they're sitting there saying, we have never missed a Christmas Eve together ever, and we're trying to find a way to make that happen. Well, those of us that are relatively still young, and I'm not in that category anymore, but relatively still young, but then also relatively healthy, which I'm healthier right now at 56, and I probably was at 36 because I made some life changes. But still, what about them? Mm-hmm. So you have to think about them. And of course, the way things are going with our family, they may be able to have a Christmas Eve of people with antibodies.
Yeah, that's all had it, right?
From top to bottom. So it is. This is more complicated than decisions have been in the past because it's got so many different angles to it.
I think as the vaccine gets out there, and it's been out there for a month, it's been out there for 6 weeks, it's going to be a lot easier to make the decision to get it once we see it's working.
Right.
And there's not side effects to it.
But I also don't want to live in a country that makes me take a vaccine.
Right.
I do not want to live in that country.